Imagine a game with the animations and effects of Strongest Battlegrounds, with the destruction and parkour of Jujutsu shenanigans, with a multi-genre game. You can almost see it, the perfect battleground game. It's just another battleground game. Yeah, there's nothing new here. If you've been active within the community, you have surely seen videos about this unreleased battleground game that was hyped up to be the next Jujutsu shenanigans. And it may not be as far from that as you may think. Do keep in mind, this video is my opinion and my first impressions of the game, so if you disagree, that's fine, because that's your opinion. But let's jump into the game itself. Upon loading in, the first thing you likely notice is that the map looks oddly similar to Jujutsu shenanigans. And yeah, the map is heavily inspired. Is that a bad thing? No, not necessarily. But the feeling a similar map gives is, I could be playing Jujutsu shenanigans instead, which isn't good. Now, the next thing you're probably thinking to yourself is that they copied Jujutsu shenanigans destruction. Now, I would say that Jujutsu shenanigans did not create destruction physics, as it has been a thing for many type of Roblox games. However, JJS did popularize it in the battleground genre. But I don't think there's any point to me saying any of this, since some of you have probably already written out a comment how this game copied JJS. No, don't delete or edit your comment. Let everyone see. What I'm trying to say is, don't hate the game or the people who enjoy this game simply because it has an aspect of your favorite game. Because I don't hate JJS or SPG because they use the same formula that Strongest does. But let's get back to the game. The map is seemingly rather big with only a maximum of 12 players per server. Depending on who you ask, this may be a bad thing. Personally, I had moments where it felt like there were only like actual 4 people in the server who I consistently fought, and you can fight the same guy only so many times until you get bored. And at other times there was no one. I didn't see anyone. If your game is supposed to be a sandbox fighting game and the fighting part is missing, what else am I supposed to do? Not only that, but the zip lines you see around the map that are used to get around the actual place are the easiest way to just exit a fight. To make matters worse, since the game is semi-balanced, it actually takes a while to get someone low. And whenever they are low, they just slide away into the sky. And there's nothing you can do but just watch or just follow and never catch them. But now that we're on the topic of gameplay, I have never seen a game that promotes both turtling and attacking at the same time. If you just sit there and dodge like a maniac or block everything possible, you can heal back most of your health, since there is no combat log to stop healing. If you just spam forward dash and the enemy dares look 5 degrees to the wrong direction, then they get hit. This basically just leads to a stalemate unless both sides are actively fighting each other. But on the actual side of combat, I will spare you the boring details, but it's exactly what you expect from any battleground game. And that's the problem. The forward dash hitbox comes out only at the end, so if you time it correctly, it's basically a free M1. The backwards dash is extremely slow and you can't really use it in combat unless you're trying to back out of the fight or make distance. And as for the actual fighting itself, it's rather good actually. There isn't any one-shot combos that you get stuck in easily, and the ultimates are all actually decently balanced. As for the characters, I will only touch on the characters whose shows I have watched. So let's talk about Jinwoo, aka Shadow Monarch. From what I understand, the Jinwoo in this game has already unlocked Necromancer, so I would expect that he uses his actual minions in battle. And no, I will not be counting the blocks in the sky of your domain expansion shooting fireballs. The moves themselves are visually impressive and probably has the best moveset in the game. But onto Dio, aka Menacing Vampire. Dio is pretty well done. I like how the base varies from stand on and stand off. The ult is good and the moves look nice. Now, here is what I don't understand. Why does this have an R move? There are plenty of characters that don't, but whatever, let's move on. And now for the thing I have wanted to talk about the most, which is Sukuna. By Sukuna, I mean Sukuna. Unlike other games, this isn't the half Yuji and half Sukuna we are accustomed to. This is just Sukuna. One thing I do have to give for the developers is the accuracy of his curse technique, Shrine. One thing many games get wrong is Dismantle. In the simplest terms, if you want to shoot out the Dismantle, you need to say Kai, aka Dismantle. Now, they could have gone and put in there any single voice line that they wanted, but they kept it pretty accurate, which I'm pretty happy with. But now let's actually talk about the game and where it will end up in a few months' time. As I mentioned earlier, the fact that this game takes aspects from JGS is bad in the short term. I have seen people boycott the game simply because it has an aspect from JGS and declare themselves as the moral high ground. I don't get why we can't just enjoy aspects of JGS in other forms of games. I have said this exact thing on many other videos, but if a game isn't scared of taking inspiration from other games, then the outcome will be either great or bad. What Realm Rampage falls under? Well, it doesn't put a spin on anything really, aside from the multi-genre aspect. I do have to say that the fact they copied the JJS map pretty closely was also pretty damn lazy, but I think I know why. Aside from destruction being a recognizable aspect from JJS, they probably wanted to get the initial engagement boost of us mentioning the similarities. And before I go on another rant about how blatantly they copied and how bad it is, this creates competition. And what does competition create? More activity from the developers, more engagement from the developers, and more. For you as the consumer, this is a great thing regardless of which game you like the most. If you like JJS, JJS will try to up Realm Rampage in some way. If you like Realm Rampage, then Realm Rampage will try to up JJS in some way. And what does this lead to? More and better quality updates. Because if we don't get competition, the other side gets complacent and lazy. So hey, if you're one of those people who praise on the downfall of another game like a douche, then the best thing to do is to push the game you hate the most to update more, so your favorite developer can prove how much better they are with the next update. But jokes aside, this is something that shouldn't be a problem for most, yet here we are. As of now, Realm Rampage to me doesn't feel like anything new. The amount of characters the game released with 100% helped, unlike how most other Battlegrounds nowadays release. As to how far the game will get, well, it will be a big title in the Battleground genre for a while, even with a lot missing and much to change. And to me, it has quite a bit to prove still. But do tell me down in the comments, what are your experiences with the game? And if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more of me talking about other Battlegrounds or maybe more about Realm Rampage, then be sure to like the video and subscribe, as I will be keeping an eye on the statistics. But I'll see you in the next one.